everyone. Thanks very much for joining us here today at our campaign launch. I really appreciate your time that you've given already for the Cooperative Party, already given to our preparation for our campaign, but also to be with us today. Elections 4 weeks today, hugely critical 4 weeks ahead of us. And from a Co-op Party point of view, we're contesting over 900 seats this set of elections. 900 seats. That's nearly 400 more than we've ever contested before. Our previous high being in 2018. We've got tens of millions of people who will have cooperative candidates in front of them for the first time in 4 weeks today. It's a hugely exciting time. I'm really looking forward to our event today, but I'm also really looking forward to the campaigning ahead of us today. Nearly 90% of the population will have that co-op choice in front of us, and it's up to us to be providing that cooperative difference as well. I mean, this is all levels of our elections covered, whether this is parish, city, county, London Assembly, Scottish, Welsh and Metro mayors. We've got co-op candidates at the heart of all of those elections right across the country. And why? It strikes at the very nature of why the Cooperative Party is a political party. We are fixated on having cooperative voices at the decision-making tables across the country. It's what we're all about. We need to have that influence on behalf of our members, but also our cooperative movement as well. It's absolutely critical. We're ambitious to grow our voice and our influence. And that's not just for ourselves, it's not just for the party, but it's for the whole cooperative movement. Only through having yourselves as supporting and being our elected voice can we really start to deliver some of the big changes that we want to see, not just across the economy, local, national, but for our cooperative movement as well. We've got a really firm conviction in our values and principles. We know that our values and principles hold the key to a fair and better society. So why wouldn't we want more elected representatives at every level? Why wouldn't we want more candidates? And why wouldn't we want more cooperation? We know we're right. We know we've got the values and principles which are required right now, and it's up to us to go out and achieve the opportunity in front of us. We're ambitious for that growth. We're ambitious for that movement. You know, pre-pandemic, our elected representatives gave us much reason for pride, whether it be working to tackle modern slavery, leading our food justice efforts, standing up for colleagues in our movement who work in cooperative stores. We've been developing our community wealth models, promoting and defending the cooperative movement in its very many guises at every opportunity. That pride's only increased through the pandemic. Some of the work that our elected representatives have been doing has been a source of inspiration to ourselves, to our movement and to our members, very truly on the front line. It's the expression of the cooperative values have really shone through in this period of time. I've been proud to work with them, and I've been proud that we've been able to highlight the amazing things that they've done for their communities and our movement. It's why we want many more, and that's what we're here today to hear from, to understand, to get in behind. I mean, this is where we're up to as a party, it's where we're up to as a movement. And today we've got the most fantastic showcase. We're going to hear from some of the most fantastic candidates all around the country, doing things for the cooperative movement, for their communities, which are a huge source of pride for myself, but for the party as well. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm going to be with you through this event. I'm going to make sure that I introduce everyone just about Balbon. And the first time I've ever introduced Preet Gill online, Preet Gill online, Preet wasn't there, but I know she's there today. Preet is our most fantastic parliamentary group chair, a fantastic Labour and Cooperative member of Parliament, member of the Shadow Cabinet, one of the leading voices in the UK cooperative movement. Preet, over to yourself to introduce our event, and thank you very much for being here today as well.
Thank you so much, Joe, and thank you for inviting me to join you at the launch of the Cooperative Party local election campaign. There's now less than a month to go until polling day, and these elections are incredibly important for us all in the party. Over the next 4 weeks, our movement has the chance to help elect cooperatives to parishes and parliaments in numbers that we just haven't seen before. And across the UK, we have over 800 candidates ready and waiting to represent our cooperative values and put our cooperative ideas into practice in every region of the country. And what an incredible opportunity this election provides, because we know it is only with Labour and cooperative elected representatives that we can best tackle the injustices that we see in our communities And having those strong cooperative voices in town halls across the country, that is how we can make the difference for our constituents on the ground. The pandemic has really exposed how the foundations of our society have been weakened under Conservative Party rule. And it is no coincidence that we have ended up with one of the worst mortality rates and the worst economic recession of any major economy. The very fabric of our society has been pulled apart over the last decade. And even before coronavirus, child poverty had shot up to over 4 million, and the number of patients waiting more than 18 weeks for treatment had increased by 500%. And 1 in 4 families began this crisis with less than £100 in their savings. And this is why we need cooperators in power at every level of our country. The Tories have the wrong priorities, dishing out billions of pounds to friends and donors, but a pay cut for nurses, starving local councils of funding even as they step up to provide free school meals to deprived children, and filling in the holes left by the 22 billion Serco test and trace system that just hasn't worked. Tackling injustice is something that comes naturally to us as cooperators, and it was the cause for our very founding as a movement and is reflected in all that we do as a party today. In my role as Shadow Secretary of State for International Development, it is our cooperative principles and desire to address the injustices we see not just in our own communities, but further from home that drive so much of our work. And whether in imposing the devastating cuts to the foreign aid budget or standing up for a dedicated government department that focuses solely on our obligation to the world's most vulnerable, you can see those same values our movement holds dear. And it is this opportunity to take those very same cooperative principles and ideas and put them into practice that we must seize over the next 4 weeks by making sure that those fantastic candidates who represent our movement are absolutely elected, because we know that the difference that they can make. In Wales, for example, Welsh and Labour cooperative Senedd members in government have demonstrated this by creating the conditions for cooperatives to thrive. And they've been leading the way on tax justice and tackling modern slavery. And in Scotland, even in opposition, we've helped change the law to increase protections on violence against shop workers. And just imagine what more we could do with cooperators elected in Holyrood. And with the majority of PC candidates in England and Wales also representing the Cooperative Party, we're well placed to tackle injustices such as retail workers' violence and misogynistic hate crime. Our Metro mayoral candidates will make a difference in their communities too. And with the fantastic Tracy Brabin and Jessie Jo Jacobs, we have an opportunity to elect the first ever woman Metro mayors and cooperative mayors at that. So much is at stake in this election, but with those fantastic candidates and so many others like them, giving nearly 90% of the electorate a cooperative candidate on the ballot in May, we're in a great position to shape the future and continue to tackle these injustices. It's a strange quirk of history that the cooperative model formed by weavers and workers in Fenwick and Rochdale is actually more widely applied and celebrated abroad than in our own country. There are 2.9 million co-ops in the world, co-owned by around 1 billion people. I believe the same community spirit and commitment to fairness and equality that drives us has been stirred during this past year, and many of us will have been through some of the most trying times of our lives. And yet in the face of that enormous adversity, many people and communities have come together to support one another. They've forged and renewed the bonds of solidarity with others. And whether it's been clapping for carers, or the everyday acts of kindness of neighbours checking in with one another, or gathering a donation for their local food bank, there is really a sense that many of us rediscovered a sense of unity and common purpose. As cooperators and collaborators, this is the spirit we want to harness and turn to action for real change, because we believe in what local people and politicians can achieve when they work together. And it's incumbent on all of us now to do everything that we can to seize this opportunity, support our cooperative candidates, and get them elected. So before I pass back to Jo, and we continue with the launch of our election campaign, as the proud chair of the Cooperative Parliamentary Group and a former councillor myself, I want to wish you the very best of luck to every one of our candidates, and I look forward to joining you on the campaign trail ahead of May the 6th. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Preet. That was fantastic, and I look forward to getting on the campaign trail with you as well, especially for Liam Benn, one of our fantastic Metro Mayor candidates in the West Midlands. Really looking forward to that campaign, but also that result as well. Now, friends, we've got 5 fantastic campaign themes that we've been working on. We've been campaigning on. This is work that we've been developing over a period of time. We're going to understand and hear a little bit more about those themes now during this part of our event. Now, what I would say is these are the ones you can get from the new Labour and Cooperative materials from the joint materials from the Labour Party print shop. These are the campaigns which have been so important to us over a period of time. If you're looking through, we're going to be hearing from video content, from campaigners, from candidates as well, in topics of the local economy, community ownership, tackling injustice, fair tax, and food justice as well. 5 of the really important aspects that our party has been working on over the period of time. I'm really looking forward to this piece. There's going to be a mixture of campaign video, animation, but also hearing from our candidates as well. We've got a fantastic array of candidates with us today as well, doing some of the most important work around the country. So today we're going to be also hearing from Monica Lennon, a candidate for Hamilton, Larkhall and Stonehouse in Scotland, Councillor Eve Holt, a candidate in Chorlton and Greater Manchester, Councillor Tom Hayes, Deputy Leader of Oxford City Council and a candidate in St Clements, Lola Ousi as well, the Police and Crime Commission candidate in Kent, Rebecca Evans, Minister of Finance but candidate in Gower, Tracy Braben is alluded to, our West Midland, West Yorkshire Metro Mayor candidate as well. We've got an absolutely fantastic lineup. I'm really looking forward to it. They're all going to be on those 5 themes. So sit back, enjoy this next section, and this is really what we're all on the campaign trail to deliver, and it's what we're looking to have the impacts on after the election as well. So thank you very much.
Cooperative politics means thinking differently about how we organise our economy. We want more of the money we spend to go back into the communities we live in. Already, cooperators have come together to protect and improve our high streets through community ownership models, while communities set up community energy schemes to make sure our route to solving the climate crisis puts people, not corporations, in control. Electing more Labour and cooperative representatives means a focus on protecting jobs and livelihoods in the wake of the coronavirus pandemic, tackling the climate emergency, and finding new community-led ways of improving the places where we live.
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be speaking at the launch of the Cooperative Party Election 2021 campaign and to be invited to speak on the importance of the local economy and high streets. Today, I am venturing out of the house to support my own local economy by getting my very much dreamed of and very necessary first post-lockdown haircut. And I'm just kicking myself that I didn't manage to book the appointment first thing this morning ahead of the Co-op Party election launch, but I will be tweeting an obligatory selfie later today to show me supporting my local high street. But I'm really proud to be a member of the Co-op Party, and this election is very exciting for me as it's my first time standing as a constituency candidate and my first time as a cooperative candidate. And standing in my home constituency of Hamilton, Larkhall and Stonehouse is a huge honour. And I'm delighted when voters ask me about the Cooperative Party and our relationship with the Labour Party. And I look forward to hopefully being elected as a Labour and Co-op MSP, working with an expanded group of Labour Co-op MSPs in the Scottish Parliament. And to me, promoting cooperative politics means thinking differently about how we organise our economy. We want more of the money we spend to go back into the communities where we live. Already, cooperators have come together to protect and improve our high streets through community ownership models, while communities set up community energy schemes to make sure our route to solving the climate crisis puts people, not corporations, in control. Electing more Labour and cooperative representatives means a focus on protecting jobs and livelihoods in the wake of the coronavirus pandemic, tackling the climate emergency, and finding new community-led ways of improving the places where we live and work. And as Scottish Labour's recently appointed economy and fair work spokesperson, I am passionate about making sure the national recovery is rooted in local towns and high streets. The future of our high streets and the role of co-ops is a huge policy priority. There were concerns about our local high streets and town centres long before the pandemic, but the COVID-19 lockdown has made matters so much more challenging and urgent. And as a former town planner before I got into politics, I know our high streets need investment and a plan for recovery, and that cooperatives have a huge opportunity and role to play in shaping that recovery. That's why I'm delighted that Scottish Labour is committed to doubling the number of co-ops during the term of the next Parliament, because we need to democratise our economy. We also need to look at the impact of online retailers on our high streets. We need to look for a level playing field between bricks and mortar retailers and online retailers. And I'm pleased that the Scottish Co-op Party is committed to the need to develop IT cooperatives. And I hope, if I'm re-elected, that I can help promote this policy in the next Parliament to not only promote digital inclusion, but to achieve it. Because if there's one thing the pandemic has taught us, it's the importance of a good internet connection. Anchor institutions in our high streets are too often at risk. For example, banks and post offices. Here in Hamilton, Larkhall and Stonehouse, our local area has been really badly affected in recent years, with banks closing and moving out of the area, and it's had a detrimental impact on older and disabled people in particular. And whilst we are heading for a cashless society, we do need to ensure that banks and ATMs remain available. And I want to pay tribute to my friend and our former MP here in Rutherglen Hamilton West, Jed Killen, for all his fantastic work when he was a Labour and Co-op MP. And I hope that Jed is back representing this area very soon. Recovery from the pandemic is the priority going into the next election, and ensuring we have strong local economies and available jobs is going to be key to that recovery. Before I close, I want to say a thank you to the Co-op Party, my friends across the Co-op movement, for supporting the campaign in Scotland to end period poverty. My Members' Bill, which is now the Period Products Free Provision Scotland Act, received royal assent in January, showing that persistence pays off, and I want to thank all of you for your support and solidarity. And I'm delighted to hear today that co-op candidates are at the heart of elections right across the country. I look forward to working in the next Parliament to promote the strong local message that we have today, and to working with the Co-op Party in the years ahead. So thank you to all of you. And just to agree with Joe, that for all of you standing, no matter where you are in the country, you do hold the key to a fairer, better and more cooperative society. So go out there and win. Thank you. Good luck.
The coronavirus pandemic has shown us just how much we value public space, and how much we lose when we can't come together as a community in the places we love. Electing more Labour and cooperative representatives means a greater focus on protecting these places for community use, whether they're playing fields, pubs or public toilets. We'll work with local people to help make them into assets of community value, giving them more protection from being sold off or got rid of, and supporting community ownership where these places are under threat.
Thank you and good morning. So I'm Eve Holt, I'm a councillor in Chorlton in Manchester, and I'm really proud and excited to be one of now over 900 Labour and Co-op candidates standing in May. It does feel at the moment like we're standing on a bit of a knife edge, and I think that the co-op movement, the cooperative spirit and the politics of the Cooperative Party are absolutely key to addressing that fragility that we're feeling and seeing in our planet, in our politics, in our communities, our streets and our homes. is absolutely key to how we address the very urgent needs of today, the cuts of the last decade, and those multi-generational wounds and trauma of division and hate, and the structural systemic racism, misogyny, discrimination that Preet referred to before. Co-op values in action are absolutely key to how we unlock that potential that's really exciting for a greener, fairer places and much happier, healthier lives for all of us and for future generations. And it's great to be a part of that solution. So this growing movement gives me a huge amount of hope that this is possible and much more confidence in our collective stride as we move forwards. And key to this in particular is community ownership of our community assets and our public spaces. So we've really seen, haven't we, over the last year, how important our neighbourhoods are and those huge disparities of place in terms of who can access green spaces, who feels safe in our public spaces, who can access local community spaces and community, if it's food banks or village halls, and those spaces that have absolutely provided essential support and practical support over the last year. So it's key that for a livable and lovable neighbourhoods and for strong communities that we really ensure that these community assets that have in many cases been stripped out of some neighbourhoods and in others are feeling very fragile and vulnerable to being stripped out with further cuts to local places, that we think about how we absolutely bring those into community ownership and we protect them. And it can often feel like a battle of David and Goliath. Even when you've got elected members like myself and fellow cooperators standing alongside their communities with what feels like an absolute no-brainer. You've got a village hall, you've got a local community asset, a theatre, a post office, a pub, a park, which is providing an absolutely key asset in the community, and there's a threat to it. Even though it can feel like an absolute no-brainer for a better place and better lives, it can still be an absolute uphill battle in order to ensure that that is protected. And that's why being a co-op councillor, I think, is really key, because as part of that network, what we're able to do is we're able to share the knowledge, the case studies, the examples, the tools across that network to make it much easier then for us to work together with our communities to protect those assets, to bring them into community ownership and ensure they absolutely are there to work for people and the planet and not for profit of people and extraction. And to do this in a way that is absolutely inclusive, that involves local people in all their diversity, and that really designs spaces that are welcoming for all, accessible for all. I'm thinking about those kind of intergenerational separation that we've seen over the last year, spaces that younger people and older people can come together and those community bonds can grow. So working together as a network and a movement, let's absolutely equip our councils and communities with this knowledge and information. Let's shine a light on the good examples in our neighbourhoods, in our communities. And just as I've seen in Chorlton, this absolutely will enable us to continue to grow that cooperative spirit, that strength within our communities and that resilience going forward. So before I end, I just want to share, this is a favourite quote of mine that I go around saying lots, which is by Alice Walker, which is the most common way we give up our power is thinking we don't have any. And what we've seen over the last year is that power of cooperators in our communities working alongside those in elected office. And now it's really time to ensure that everybody believes and feels that they have that power and that we equip them with the resources so that we can genuinely build back fairer and better for all of us. Last time I spoke at a cooperative event, I actually shared a poem. I'm not doing that today, though I'm happy to share it on social media, on the power of cooperation as a secret sauce in everything we do. But I will share the final line, which is just that we are cooperators through and through. It's who we are and it's what we do. Thank you.
Cooperation is about treating everyone with the respect and dignity they deserve. When we saw the shop workers were coming under attack, we stepped in and acted, helping bring in new legislation in Scotland and keeping on the pressure in Westminster to protect them. Electing more Labour and cooperative representatives means fighting injustice at every level, whether it's standing up for shop workers or helping local councils cut modern slavery out of their supply chains. It's also about climate justice, ensuring our green transition is fair and puts people and communities above profit.
Hello, I'm Councillor Tom Hayes from Oxford City Council, and I'm thrilled to be here at the local government launch. This is an incredibly powerful moment to seize. As we fight these elections, we're asking what kind of society and what kind of economy do we want to create with coronavirus finally and firmly in the rearview mirror? The answer has to be cooperative. There is no problem to which a cooperative solution is not the right solution. And if ever there was a time for cooperative solutions, that time is now. As we respond to the challenges of a post-pandemic age, we have to meet the very specific challenges presented by our climate crisis. And we have a big challenge. The Rochdale pioneers could see far into the future, but even the Rochdale pioneers living through the Industrial Revolution, a revolution that has created many of the climate effects we face today, could not have foreseen what is coming down the tracks in terms of the climate crisis. 51 billion is how many tons of greenhouse gases the world typically adds to the atmosphere each year. And 0 is where we need to get to. Global emissions dropped by a bit in 2020 because the global economy slowed down so much, but it probably dropped only around 5%. So we'll release around 48 or 49 billion tons of carbon, not 51. Consider what we need to achieve to reduce our emissions down to 0. It's huge. We cannot have this level of economic slowdown year on year to save the planet. Nobody would want to repeat this year. So what's the solution? It's cooperative. It's about rebuilding our economy to be inclusive, fair, and cooperative. It's about you. It's about getting to 0 by working with you and our communities and our cooperative party to put our cooperative values into practice. It's about making sure that we don't go down the road of more austerity. The public rightly don't want it, and we don't need it to meet the climate crisis. We can actually use more of the goods and services that we currently use, but unfortunately have to depend on fossil fuel energy to provide, so long as we invest in our town halls, putting into practice our values. Town halls can help to provide the additional energy we need so that everybody can enjoy the highest standard of living, just so long as we don't release any more greenhouse gases. And up and down the country, local government has shown that it is the major route to getting to 0 by deploying more of the solar and wind tools we already have, but rolling out breakthrough technologies such as affordable batteries that can store community or city-sized amounts of clean energy for long enough. Here in Oxford, we've been funding and supporting the development of Low Carbon Hub, a social enterprise working with cooperatives to develop our renewable energy. We've invested millions of pounds in making it a big player in the local energy system, so that it's actually a big partner in our major economic and energy breakthrough technology, Energy Super Hub Oxford, a £41 million investment in the world's largest hybrid battery, which is also allowing the UK's largest EV charging hub here in Oxford, which is pushing forward this Labour Council's ambition to create Britain's first zero emission zone. And we're pushing ahead too to achieving a zero carbon city by 2040, 10 whole years earlier than the government. We're aiming to be a zero carbon council in Oxford by putting our cooperative values into practice by 2030 or earlier. And we're doing it all because we consulted our public. We held a citizens' assembly on climate change, the first by a UK city, to talk to a mini Oxford about how they want to achieve a zero carbon Oxford. And when we asked them, did they want more cooperative solutions? They came back with yes, emphatically. They did want that. And we need to accomplish something gigantic that we've never achieved before, much faster than we've ever done anything similar. And that falls to our town halls. The Co-op Party has been small, but we're getting so much bigger. Local government, like the cooperative movement, has been too busy making change happen so that we hide our successes. But we're now talking so much more about these because of the Cooperative Party, and we're sharing them like never before. With these elections, we can achieve a cooperative breakthrough to achieve a climate breakthrough. And our successes can go further and faster than government. If you wait for the Conservatives, you'll be waiting forever. The City Council has set ambitious targets for our own decarbonisation, our city's decarbonisation in Oxford, and I know across the country, our cooperative town halls are doing the same. And lastly, our successes in local government won't just affect our communities and reduce our emissions. They'll strengthen the foundation on which the Labour Party's general election campaign will be fought, and it will be won. The next Labour manifesto will deliver cooperative ideals that we trial in local government when we win these sets of local elections. We're showing that cooperative ideas work in practice, and we're showing that together we achieve more. So the best of luck to you all in the elections coming up. Let's go out and fight for our values. Let's return as many Labour and cooperative councillors as we possibly can. And let's fix the problems that the Tories are creating for us. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Lola Oyewusi, the Labour cooperative candidate for Kent Police Crime Commissioner and also Kent County Council election happening on the 6th of May. As the cooperative candidate, we know the values that we can bring into serving our community, making our communities to be much better, much safer, much stronger, and much greener for the region that we serve in. As a cooperative candidate, even as a police crime commissioner candidate, our values will allow us to tackle injustice, modern day slavery, violence against social workers, working with Ulster Union to ensure that our shop workers are kept safe and are able to deliver a brilliant service for all. Our community values will be at the heart of what we will do for our communities as cooperative candidates. The election comes up on the 6th of May. Please vote for all the Labour cooperative candidates across all the different regions for a better community, for a safer community, for a stronger community, and also for a greener community. Our values will make a huge difference when we are elected on the 6th of May. If you have not registered to vote, please register for early voting. Register for postal voting. And you don't have to worry about queuing up at the polling station. Join our campaign, join our team, help us to select all the cooperative candidates all across the region so we can deliver the best service for you. Thank you.
We've all pulled together in the last year. Each of us has made a sacrifice to keep our community safe and healthy. There's no excuse for people not to do their bit and pay their fair share towards keeping our vital public services running. The Cooperative Party believes in fair tax, and we're the first political party to be awarded the Fair Tax Mark for our commitment to transparency and doing the right thing. Electing more Labour and cooperative representatives means a greater commitment to fair tax.
Hello, I'm Rebecca Evans and I'm proud to be the Labour and Cooperative member and now the candidate for the Gower constituency in the Senedd, the Welsh Parliament. I want to say a few words about why fair tax is so important to our movement. Every year, billions of pounds go missing from the UK's public purse because companies choose to avoid paying their corporation tax. This tax avoidance causes huge damage. Small businesses can't compete because it's not a level playing field. Money funnels upwards, contributing to growing inequality, and democracy is undermined by companies playing by their own rules and less money being available for the vital public services on which we all depend. That's why I encourage local businesses here in Gower to find out more about achieving the fair tax mark, and it can help them become part of a growing UK-wide network of businesses leading on responsible practice, changing the tax landscape for the better. More widely, I am really proud of what the Welsh Labour government has achieved here in Wales on that wider fair tax agenda over the past Senedd term. As Minister for Finance, I introduced rules so that businesses based in tax havens wouldn't receive a penny of our COVID-related business support. On council tax, we have removed care leavers from council tax up to the age of 25. We have greatly improved our support for people with what is termed serious mental impairment. And we have removed the sanction of imprisonment for the non-payment of council tax because we know that struggling isn't a crime. On landfill disposal tax, we were the first in the UK to introduce a higher rate for unauthorised disposals, and that's helping to protect our environment. And I took the decision to exclude second home purchasers and buy-to-let landlords from our land transaction tax holidays, freeing up money to invest in social housing instead. And that is the kind of difference that our Labour and cooperative values make.
We believe that in the 6th richest nation on earth, nobody should go hungry. While we organise for a right to food nationally, we've worked with friends across the cooperative movement to push local authorities to use the powers they already have to expand and coordinate access to food. That means encouraging take-up of Healthy Start vouchers and the introduction of food champions on local councils. Electing more Labour and cooperative representatives means putting food justice firmly on the agenda and cutting the number of people who can't get the healthy, nutritious food they need.
Hello, I'm Tracy Brabin and I'm the proud Labour and Cooperative Metro Mayor candidate for West Yorkshire. In this year's elections, there's so much at stake because when we go to the ballot box on May the 6th, we face a choice on how we recover from the crisis and rebuild in the years to come. It's so important we don't just return to the old ways of doing things that for so long have failed so many in our community. This is an exciting opportunity to build a fairer, more equal society where we can hardwire the spirit shown in communities like mine right across West Yorkshire, where people came together to look out for one another during this crisis, where mutual aid groups were formed to take care of the vulnerable, and people donated so generously to food banks to help those who would otherwise go hungry. In these actions and so many others, we can see our cooperative values and principles at their very core put into action to make a genuine difference when we needed it the most. And it's these same values that will be on the ballot paper next month. So please join me in celebrating those cooperative ideals, voting Labour and cooperative, making sure there's a strong cooperative voice in town halls right across the country.
Look, what a fantastic showcase we've just seen. Some of the best candidates, some of the best policies, some of the best impact that the cooperative movement and the Cooperative Party can make right across the country. You saw there at all levels. Police and crime commissioners, MSPs, MSs, this is all level cooperation. It's an incredibly important piece for us. It's all about delivering our values and principles in campaigns, in action, in activity, and in power as well, ultimately. This is what this campaign's about. This is where we're trying to get to. Now, look, we've heard about those themes. We've met some of those candidates. And now I also want to make sure that one of we had Preet Gill as well, even at the start. And we've got another fantastic cooperator to hear from today as well. Jim Mcmahon is the chair of our party. He's the member of Parliament in Oldham. He's a member of the Shadow Cabinet, a fantastic cooperator, a fantastic influence and voice for us right across the country, right across the cooperative movements and Labour movements. And it's great that we're able to hear from him today. So over to Jim and then back to myself. Thank you.
My name's Jim Mcmahon. I'm the MP for Oldham West and Royton, and I'm proud to be the chair of the Cooperative Party. We've now just a month to go for the elections that are taking place across the country. I am so proud of cooperators across the land for the work that they are doing. We recognise after the tough year that our nation has had, after losing so much and sacrificing so much, with the vaccination rollout continuing at pace, we are all looking for the light at the end of the tunnel, but also critically thinking about the future. And what will the future foundation of our country be? The social foundation, the economic foundation, and that which binds us and allows us to thrive in life rather than just struggling to get by. People want better for the future than they had in the past, and so it can't be business as usual. And while of course Labour is in opposition nationally, you have the power to elect people in power in town halls, in our metro mayoral areas, police and crime commissioners, and of course the Parliament in Scotland and Wales too. All that giving you the opportunity to make sure that you have Labour and cooperation in power, making a difference and resetting the future for our country. So to all of our candidates, wherever you may be standing, thank you so much for the work that you are doing. To voters across the country, please get behind our Labour and cooperative candidates and really achieve that change we are all demanding for our country.
That was fantastic. Look, friends, this is going to be the last time you hear from me in this event. I very much hope that we're going to be working together over the weeks, but over the months and years ahead as well, because this is a part of our journey. This is a part of the Cooperative Party's journey. This is about our ambition. It's about our commitment to our movement as well. We're in this together. And at this moment, given it's the last time you'll hear from me at this event, I just want to say thank you. I want to say a thank you to your commitment, thank you to your support, thank you for your membership, thank you for your enthusiasm and your willingness to stand for the Cooperative Party. These are the absolute essences of what we're about as Cooperative Party members, as cooperators, as part and parcel of representatives of a set of values and principles which have stood the test of time. This is the essence of what we're about. So thank you for that. Thank you for joining us today as well. Now, look, before we finish, before we wrap up, it's my pleasure to also introduce one of our fantastic colleagues as well, a councillor, a fantastic councillor, again, working hard in this campaign for not just her own seat, but seats are right across the country. But look, Emma Hoddenott is our local government officer. She's been at the heart of the things that we've been achieving in local and regional government over the last number of years. So it's fantastic to be able to hear from Emma, hear about how we can get involved in our Cooperative Party campaign as a way of finishing off our event here today. So thank you for bearing with me. And Emma, over to yourself.
Thank you very much, Joe. We've just seen a snapshot of all the amazing candidates that are standing on the cooperative ticket this year. And as you've heard, more than ever. But these elections are about our whole movement. Every member and every supporter can play their part to get cooperators elected and to put our ideas into practice. We have an online activist hub which gives you all the tools that you need to take part, from finding out if you have local candidates, to sharing our ideas, to taking part in online campaigning as well with other cooperators. So you can join our elections team now. You can just go to party.coop/elections 2021 and sign up there. But thank you so much to everyone who's been part of this morning. We're going to leave you with to be played out by the Deputy Leader of the Labour Party and candidates from across the country. Look forward to seeing you on the campaign trail.
Hi, it's Angela Rayner. I've just been campaigning here in Birmingham and I'm really sorry I can't be with you for the launch of your campaign. For all of our cooperative fantastic candidates we've got, thank you so much for standing to be candidates, and it's so important that our cooperative values continue. We've seen throughout this pandemic how coming together in our community, supporting each other, is the bedrock of what we stand for in the Labour and cooperative movement. So I'm really pleased that you're launching your event and that you've got so many candidates up and down the country at every level. And I hope to be out there very soon with you campaigning in a COVID-safe way.
My name's Terry Einan. I'm standing for the Cooperative Party in Colville North, Leicestershire.
I'm Adam Thompson and I'm a co-op candidate in Breaston Division of Derbyshire County Council and Nottingham Road Ward on Erewash Borough Council.
Hi, I'm Mick Yates. I'm the Labour and Cooperative candidate for Bolsover North.
I'm Eva Murray and I'm a co-op candidate in Glasgow Anniesland.
I'm Ben Toomey and I'm a co-op candidate in Warwickshire.
I'm a co-op candidate in Withington in Manchester.
I'm Gareth, I'm a Labour and Cooperative candidate in Burscough and Rufford.
I'm a co-op candidate in Lake South on the Isle of Wight.
I'm a co-op candidate in Ulverston, Derby.
I'm one of the 3 Labour and Cooperative Party candidates standing in the Kingston North Division.
And I will be standing in the division of Eckington and Killamarsh in the Derbyshire County Council elections.
I'm Trisha Cowdery and I'm the Labour and Cooperative candidate for Kersal Ward in Southend-on-Sea.
Hi, my name is Anya Sizer. I'm standing in Hoxton East and Shoreditch as a Labour and Co-op councillor.
I am a co-op candidate in Hyndburn.
I'm Joe Bevan. I'm the Cooperative Party candidate for Arbury in Nuneaton.
I'm a cooperative candidate in County Durham and Darlington.
I'm Leticia Carter, co-op candidate for Thames Valley area.
I'm a co-op candidate in Redcar and Cleveland.
My name's Lynn Denham and I'm the Labour and Cooperative candidate
for Cathedral Ward in Worcester City Council.
Hello, my name is Paul Richards and I'm the Labour and Cooperative Party candidate for Police and Crime Commissioner here in Sussex.
I am a cooperative candidate in Tattenhall, Milton Keynes.
I'm a co-op candidate in Newcastle.
My name's Tony Cooper. I'm a cooperative candidate. I'm standing in Kent County Council elections for the Romney Marsh division.
Hello, Tricia Clough here. I'm the Labour and Cooperative candidate for Balborough and Clown.
Hello, I'm Wendy Cox, the Labour and Cooperative Party candidate for West Haywood in the Borough of Rochdale.
Hello, my name's Duncan Enright and I'm the Labour and Cooperative Party candidate for Witney East on West Oxfordshire District Council and Witney North and East on Oxfordshire County Council.
Hello, I'm the Labour and Cooperative candidate, Chris Webb, standing Longmeadow in Stevenage.
I'm a Co-op Party candidate in Liverpool.
I'm a Cooperative Party candidate in Guildford South West.
Hello, my name is Valerie Bosman-Quashie and I'm the Labour and Cooperative candidate for the Borough of Islington South and Finsbury for the ward Barn Hill.
I'm the Cooperative Party candidate in Cheadle Hulme North.
I'm a co-op candidate for Canterbury City North.
Hi, I'm Richard McCready. I'm the Scottish Cooperative Party candidate for the North East of Scotland.
Hello, I'm Ravi Venkatesh. I'm a cooperative candidate for Pennyland Upper Stratton Ward in Swindon.